Hey, Odin. Oh gosh, what a way to kick this one off, huh, guys? All right, go lay on the couch. Go lay on the couch. Well, today's going to be a different style of video compared to normal. And it's just one of those days where I kind of want to rant to y'all and just get all of my thoughts out there, specifically about American Express, because I had a really annoying experience with them just yesterday when I tried to apply for the Amex Business Platinum card. And in talking to some of my buddies about the experience, I figured I'd actually have a lot to say about them in general and how they've kind of just been decreasing in quality over the past few years. So I figured why not just turn on the camera and talk to y'all about it. So again, super laid back video here, gonna be edited a lot less than normal as well. But let me know if you like this style and I can definitely do more of them in the future. I did bullet out a few key points that I want to cover today, so I'll have that on my phone just to reference. Those being Amex Pop-Up Jail, the degradation of their customer service, the fact that they raise annual fees and add coupons to their cards constantly, and the addition of more restrictive rules. And each of those reasons are contributing to why I'm just really done with Amex right now, for the time being at least, and prefer to, take my business elsewhere. Off the rip, I'll go ahead and address the inevitable feedback I'm going to get on this video. So before anybody starts crying about how I'm an Amex hater and Amex is king and I need to bend the knee to them, just know you're in the wrong place. This is a rant video, so I'm going to be approaching things from more of an emotional perspective and will be a little bit less objective than I normally am when I talk about, credit card lenders and cards and stuff like that. But that's really exactly why I'm making this. And even though, maybe some don't want to watch that type of video, I really don't care. The whole point of me making this is kind of just to document where I'm sitting with Amex right now and talk about more of the psychological decisions that go into the credit card game rather than just the numbers. I should note that this video is not meant to deter you from American Express in any way, and as I always say, their cards are amazing for the right person, and that's the case with every card that you apply for, every lender that you get cards from. Those products are right for somebody out there, besides the products from First Premier, which we all know about, of course. But everything I'm discussing in this video, I feel like is important for each one of y'all to hear, no matter whether you're an Amex fanboy, Amex hater, or somewhere in between. Back to my list of topics here, I want to start with Amex Pop-Up Jail, since this stupid rule is the impetus for me even making this video in the first place. I guess I might as well start with what is Pop-Up Jail. For those that don't know, Pop-Up Jail is basically just like this, well, I guess you would call it a jail that Amex puts you in whenever they don't want you to get any of their welcome offers. And a way to tell whether or not you're in pop-up jail is if you go to apply for a card, after you complete the pre-approval form and select the proceed or whatever button on the bottom. If you're in pop-up jail, you're going to get a pop-up window that tells you that you are not eligible to receive the welcome offer, but you can continue with the application if you want to. And that's where you click either continue or don't. I would recommend you click don't, because you don't want to go for an Amex credit card without a welcome offer, especially considering their, once in a lifetime welcome offer rule. You don't want to miss out on a massive Amex welcome offer if you can help it. But yeah, a lot of people wonder like, okay, well, what gets you thrown into pop-up jail, or how do you, get out of it if you are stuck? And the fact of the matter here is that it is really quite random as to whether or not you'll be stuck in pop-up jail. We do know from data points that if you're somebody that just gets Amex credit cards for the welcome offer and then you never use them after that, first 3-month period or whatever, that's a very easy way to get stuck in pop-up jail. And that's probably the biggest reason that most of us, including myself, do get stuck in it. All Amex really wants to see from their card holders is that you're using them on a very consistent basis, and that's how they make their money. They want you swiping their credit cards. And if you're somebody that's getting their welcome offers and basically leaving them high and dry after that, which you should be doing with these banks, and that's really what the credit card game is just taking, the points from the welcome offers, using them for your travels, and then getting more cards after that. But yeah, Amex, of course, hates that, and they kind of hate it more than most. So it's almost inevitable that if you play the game at all like I do, you're going to get stuck in pop-up jail at some point. And the real only ways we've seen to get out of it is just spending time in the market, basically. So if you want to expedite the process of getting out of it, what I've heard reported is that you can just start putting more charges on your Amex cards than you were before. But there's really no telling when they'll relax on you. And I'll tell you about my experience with the Business Platinum here in a second, but this is actually my second time running into pop-up jail with Amex. And the first time was with the personal Platinum card, back whenever it had like it was like a 175,000 point offer, or maybe it was like a 250,000 point offer. I don't really remember. This was a couple years back. All I know is that it was a very high elevated offer. I think the highest we had ever seen. And even though I could get approved for the Amex Gold card, the Blue Business Plus, all of that, they would not approve me for that elevated offer on the Platinum. So I ended up just not applying for it at all. Well, I really thought that we'd be past that, considering I've also got the Amex Business Gold since then, and it's been a year since I've applied for another Amex card. So I really wasn't thinking about it too much whenever I went to apply for the Business Platinum. I actually had started filming. Like, I sat down, started recording to watch me apply, going through the entire application, and thank God I did it in this order where I tried to apply for the card first before completing the entire video. But yeah, I got to the end, did my little submit application, and of course was greeted with the infamous pop-up jail window. Now, this was the most annoyed I've ever been with pop-up jail because, like I said, there really wasn't any reason for me to get stuck in it. I mean, to be fair, yeah, I don't put a ton of charges on my business gold card, but I have been running, over $1,000 a month on this card if you net it out over the 12 months that I've had it. And the Amex Blue Business Plus has also been consistently used for me. So the biggest reason that I'm sure I'm stuck in it is because I canceled the gold card, but that was, again, over 6 months ago. So I didn't think it was going to come into play for this application. Obviously, I was wrong about that, and I remember when I saw that screen, I was like, dude, you've got to be kidding me, because this is really the only time I ever expect to be able to hit that minimum spend on the Business Platinum, and to earn 250,000 membership rewards points for that $20,000 of spend I would have to put on the card was a game changer. But now I have to, rethink my plans, and I have a new plan. I'm going to be applying for a different card to capture all of my tax spend that would have gone towards the Business Platinum, but it's just not going to give me anywhere near the same value. So it's really annoying,
You want to know something that's not annoying? Great transition, I know. With the sponsor of today's video, Max Rewards, you can manage a ton of your credit card information in one place. All you have to do is link your cards, no matter what lender they come from, to the app, and you'll see things like your total point balances, card balances, bill due dates, and so much more. There are a couple of things in particular I want to focus in on today, and we'll start with their best card by category tool, which tells you exactly what card you need to be using depending on the spending category. And with this at your fingertips, you'll now have, peace of mind knowing that you're going to get the max amount of value from every dollar you spend on your cards. For me personally, right now you can see that I need to be using my Chase Sapphire Reserve for dining and travel, which is what I normally do, as well as my Citi Custom Cash for gas. But more important for this quarter alone is the OG Chase Freedom card that I'll be using for my groceries. And with their paid feature called Max Rewards Gold, not only can you get those rotating quarterly categories automatically activated, but they'll also automatically activate all of your credit card offers for you, which saves you a ton of time in having to go into each of the lender's apps and click the little plus buttons for each. With their offer activation feature being the second thing I wanted to focus on, last year alone, I saved over $100 thanks to this, and that more than covered the annual subscription of Max Rewards Gold, so it made up for itself. If you're interested in trying out any of their features, please be sure to download it through the link in my description. And when you sign up for the app, enter the promo code Spencer to get a 1-month discount off of your annual Max Rewards Gold subscription if you ever do decide to upgrade. Thank you to Max Rewards for sponsoring this video, as always, but that's enough positive talking here. Let's go back to negative me.
I mentioned earlier how I talked to a couple of buddies about this predicament that I was facing, one of which is like an old high school friend who also has a YouTube channel, and we talk about stuff all the time. So he knows a little bit about the credit card game. He kind of got me involved in it in the first place. And I told him that I was stuck in pop-up jail with the Business Platinum, and he was like, dude, I know. Like, I was even in pop-up jail with one of the Hilton cards, which I didn't even think people really got put in pop-up jail for that much. And he's somebody that I wouldn't think would be stuck in pop-up jail. He only has a few cards, so he's running a decent amount of spend through the cards he currently has. So once I heard that from him, I kind of realized that this has to be a systemic issue, and I know that it has been for quite some time, but I figured it would have lightened up by now. It's funny how people hate on like the Chase 524 rules so much, but in my opinion, pop-up jail is much worse. It's basically one of those things where Amex can just decide without you even having any understanding of why that you cannot get a welcome offer on their cards. At least with the 524 rule, you know exactly what you need to do to be in good graces with them. So if you get denied for one of their cards while under 524, you know it wasn't because you just messed up, in the eyes of some arbitrary rule that they made up. With Amex though, you really have no clue. And I'm sorry, I just really don't care enough about them as a company to like sit idly by, put more charges on my cards that I already have with them for a while, and then just pray that one day I can get the welcome offer I want. That's just not worth it. I mean, this is a credit card hobby. There's no reason to pledge such loyalty to banks where they don't care about you. So I'm stuck in pop-up jail now, and while that was really annoying for this specific application, I'm already kind of over it, and I'm gonna have to be even more so considering I'm planning on canceling the Amex Business Gold card here in like a couple of weeks. So I'm gonna be stuck in pop-up jail for quite some time, and that kind of actually brings me a little bit of peace because at least I won't really have to wonder what's going on with them. I have a pretty good idea of why they don't like me right now. So that's the first bullet point I wanted to cover. The second one was the degradation of their customer service. And my Amex Business Platinum pop-up jail experience also speaks to this point very heavily because the application process for that card was a bit more convoluted than I've let on so far. So to walk you through effectively what happened, I was using an incognito browser to get the 250,000 point offer on the Business Platinum, and I checked it like 3 different times within the same day, but I was stuck in pop-up jail all 3 times, so I canceled my application, didn't proceed. And to my understanding, based on the pop-up that comes up whenever you click to cancel your application, that means you're not filing an application with Amex. That was my assumption. I realized I couldn't get it through incognito. Maybe if I logged into my Amex account on a non-incognito browser, I could actually get through and apply just fine. So that's exactly what I did. Went to their website, logged in, got targeted for the 250,000 point offer. So I applied for the card at that point, or at least, filled out the application, the first part of it. And then whenever I went down to submit it, it actually processed. And I was like, oh, shoot, maybe I actually could get through. But then I saw a screen telling me that it was pending review. And I was like, oh, that's really annoying. I guess that kind of breaks my streak of being automatically approved for every card. But upon further inspection, I went to my email, saw where they had already made a decision on my application. Well, at least that's what it seemed like. Went into their review applications, tab, and it said that I had 4 processing applications on the same day for the same card, and I was so confused, so I called customer service to see what was going on, because none of those links actually really told me much. They kind of just said, unable to process, whatever, call our customer service. So I thought I might have to provide them some information, and this is where things started to kind of click with this second point here. The customer service agent I got connected with was really standoffish from the start, and I was like, oh my God, I have to deal with this right now. And I basically explained what I just told y'all. And she told me that even just by filling out the, pre-approval form is what you would call it, that counts as submitting an application with Amex, even though the button that you click tells you that it doesn't. So I was like, what is going on here? I was like, I only submitted 1 application because I only got 1 application where I didn't get a pop-up. So that should be the 1 application that y'all consider, right? And she effectively just, kept repeating herself saying that, oh no, all those were treated as applications. So the final one that I did where I actually was able to apply was automatically canceled. So I wasn't even denied. I wasn't sent to pending review. Nothing really happened besides they just automatically canceled that application and told me that I have to wait at least 31 days before applying for that same card again. And that's where I was like, all right, screw it. I'm so done with Amex right now. I speak on the customer service side here though, because I'm not the only one that has experienced the changes that they've gone over the last couple of years. I actually want to call back to a Reddit thread that I talked about in my credit card lessons learned in 2024 video, where a user by the name End User Feedback said, I was an Amex member for 24 years until today. Customer service was squabbling over a $20 fee. In the past, they would have just reversed it. Was already thinking of canceling the card since it moved from being a primary everyday use card to my secondary. Well, if $20 is really that important to you over keeping a member of 24 years, then bye-bye. No longer worth it, especially with the high yearly membership fee. And yeah, if they can even give good treatment to a member of 24 years, I don't know what I expect being a member for just 3 years. And it's just kind of sad to me because I feel like Amex has been the lender where people go for the customer service. And honestly, I understand why, because a few years back when I first got started with them, they treated me with so much respect, and it was to the point where I was like, I don't even feel like I deserve this for being a brand new member and stuff like that. They would offer me, great retention offers. They would do whatever they could to make sure I was getting positive value from my cards. But now, every single time I contact them, especially over the phone, they seem so disconnected from what I'm talking about. And it seems to me that they've kind of just upended their customer service team and outsourced it to people that just don't care about the Amex brand in general. And I don't see any difference between them and all of the other companies at this point, besides maybe their chat feature, but even their chat feature has been a lot less helpful than it used to be. And I find myself having to explain my problem to somebody whose job it is to basically already have understood that problem and can solve it really quickly. And I just hate having to tell customer service reps kind of how to do what I need them to do. I don't know if that makes sense. It's just one of those annoying things that we deal with all customer service reps, but it used to not be that way with Amex. Unfortunately, it is now though. Sure, maybe I just came across a couple of bad apples in my recent experiences, but if it's happening again and again and other people are seeing the same thing, you can't ignore that theme. Another funny thing I like to think about is the fact that Amex fanboys do quote their customer service being a core reason as to why they love Amex. Because I don't know about you, but if the selling point of a company is that they have good customer service, that just goes to show that something is probably wrong with their company overall, because you shouldn't have to be contacting their customer service that often, but that's just not the case with Amex. I do feel like I've contacted them way more than any other lender, and in the past it was fine because they were really nice and really helpful, but these days it's just a headache. And I think one of the biggest contributing factors to this is exactly what the next point is about, and that is that Amex is constantly raising their annual fees and adding coupons to their cards. The more coupons we have to manage, the higher the annual fees we have to manage, the more times we have to contact customer service, and it's just this bad cycle that Amex is going down. The easiest example here is of course going to be the Amex Gold card, which increased its annual fee from $250 to $325 last year. And to me, no matter what people say, anytime a card gets an increase on its annual fee, that's an overall net negative refresh to me. Like, don't get me wrong, I completely understand that, yeah, they're going to give you more credits to help offset that annual fee, and you're actually getting more value now with the refresh, but all that is doing is trying to convince you to continue giving them money, even though there may be alternatives on the market that are completely free and giving you basically the exact same value, if not more. The $250 annual fee Amex Gold card was a card that I already thought people way overvalued, but only having to track 2 annoying monthly credits isn't the end of the world. With that $10 per month towards Uber Cash, $10 a month towards the dining credit. Like, yeah, I do still think people stretch their calculations for their effective annual fees to make this card make sense for them, but 2 credits, not that bad. Now though, the annual fee is $75 higher, but wait, you get more credits and benefits to make this card so much more valuable, and it's obviously a no-brainer to keep it open, right? Well, for some that is actually true, but for most, I just don't think it is. Yes, you could load $7 per month to your Dunkin' account on your phone and plan to go to a Resi restaurant at least once every 6 months to knock out that $100 credit. But I think it is such an odd concept to go out of your way to force your lifestyle to fit a credit card just to get the exact same value you could from a no annual fee alternative. Like, if you feel like you have to scrape back value from a card, then it's not for you. Another example here that I've called out already in a past video, even though it hasn't happened yet, I deduced that we'll see an $875 Amex Platinum card in 2025. And I came up with this because based on previous data, we know that Amex likes to refresh their flagship products, the Gold and Platinum specifically, every 4 years or so, spacing 1 year between each card. Since we saw the Gold card get refreshed in 2024, it only makes sense that we see the Platinum card get refreshed in 2025. And if they keep that same percentage increase of the annual fee that they did 4 years ago, well, we're looking at an $875 Amex Platinum card. As for what credits they may add to this card to help people justify it, I honestly don't know because they're already reaching so far with some of the credits that they've added recently. Yes, I'm looking at you, Dunkin' Donuts credit, but I'm sure I'll be ripping the new ones apart as soon as they come out if they're anything like I think they'll be. I mean, guys, hear me out. I really hope that I'm wrong about these cards. I really hope that Amex does change their ways a bit here, but you just can't deny the fact that it's becoming almost laughable with how far they can take their loyal customers to the edge before finally pushing them off. No matter how high their annual fees go or what credits they add to it to offset that, one thing is certain among all Amex customers, and that is statement credit burnout is real. Some people that are probably actually Amex's target demographic don't care about the credits at all, so they just kind of skip over the statement credit burnout. But for the people that are watching this video, all of us have to deal with this, and it becomes a lot to just manage in your head to an extent. I am working on a tool right now, which I think I covered in last week's video for a second, that'll help get rid of some of this mental fatigue, but it's still just one of those things that I find extremely annoying to deal with. The value proposition of many Amex cards these days includes some kind of monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, or annual credit, and this just leads to an average consumer being very overwhelmed. And I think this theme is just a prime example of who Amex is targeting with their cards. And that's those that I just mentioned who don't care about how much money they're spending for one of their credit cards. This was also discussed in that same Reddit post I covered a second ago, with a comment reading, Amex wants you to skip months or be someone who changes their lifestyle to justify a card and strengthen their relationship with their partners. They win either way. And then a funnier one that really rings true here saying, complainers, Amex needs to make this card more exclusive and weed card members out. Amex makes changes to promote frequent spending and benefits for a certain subset of customers. Complainers again, no, not like that. You weren't supposed to weed me out. And yeah, I think that's a perfect way to summarize kind of how I feel about their target demographic and what these increasing annual fees and added monthly, quarterly, semi-annual credits are doing to their customer base. Now, further contributing to the sad state of American Express these days is the fact that they keep adding more and more restrictive rules to their cards. And this is specific to lounge access as well as welcome offer achievability. The first one I want to cover is the fact that they removed free guest access to the Centurion lounges on the Amex Platinum cards, unless of course you hit some insane requirements to get that. In the past though, you were able to bring 2 guests to each Centurion lounge with you. And that's exactly what we see from all the other flagship lounges like the Chase Sapphire lounges, Capital One lounges. You can bring 2 guests in with their premium travel credit card. But now with Amex to their Centurion lounges, no guests. Well, unless of course you spend $75,000 on your card in a calendar year, then you unlock, free guests for X amount of time. But if you don't do that, then you're gonna have to pay $50 per guest that's 18 or older, or $30 per guest in between the ages of 2 and 17. And while on one hand this is good to help decrease the crowding in the Centurion lounges, it kind of ruins this card for people that mainly got it for that lounge access it provides for them and their family, especially those that are more just casual travelers. Going back to what I mentioned before, this change does not impact the folks that are getting this card, not caring about what they're paying for the annual fee, and just maybe you're traveling solo for business, blah, blah, blah. Again, those kind of people aren't watching these videos in the first place. I'm talking to the normal everyday credit card user that's trying to get the most value possible from their everyday spend and unlock those premium travel perks at a very cheap discount using credit cards. That's what we're here for. But yeah, we are the kind of people that Amex is getting rid of. On top of that, they also recently added restrictions to the Delta Sky Club access that we got through these cards, where now you'll only get 10 Delta Sky Club passes per year, as long as you're flying on a class higher than economy with Delta. Authorized user cards with both the personal and business platinum also get 10 visits. However, Amex recently increased the fee that you pay every year by having an authorized user card. So right when we think we find a little trick to maybe getting some more access, lo and behold, Amex has already taken that away. Similarly to the Centurion guest access, if you do spend $75,000 on your card, you'll unlock unlimited access to the Delta Sky Clubs again. So this just continues to drive the point home that Amex is targeting those high spend people who probably aren't even using these perks anyways. Changing from the airport lounge access restrictions to the welcome offer restrictions, over the past year or two, they've added family language restrictions to almost every single one of their cards. And for those that don't know what I mean when I say that, family language restrictions basically mean that if you've gotten the welcome offer on another card in the same family as the one you're trying to go for now, you may not be eligible for the welcome offer on a new card in that same family. To find out whether or not this is associated with the card that you're going for, you can just open up the offer terms, and at the top it should say something like, you may not be eligible to receive a welcome offer if you have or have had this card or X other cards that are within the same family. The way in which they formulated these rules basically means that if you want to get a welcome offer on each card in a family, like let's just make it specific now, the green, gold, and platinum cards. If I want a welcome offer on the green card, I could not have gotten the welcome offer on the gold or platinum cards. If I wanted the welcome offer on the gold card, I couldn't have gotten it on the platinum. So effectively, you have to work your way up the ladder with each card family, and that just doesn't fit with a lot of our welcome offer strategies. Another really annoying point here is that you have to be very careful to not mess this up. Whenever you pair this rule with that once-in-a-lifetime welcome offer rule with Amex Pop-Up Jail, it seems like we're turning in the direction where Amex eventually is just not going to give us any welcome offers at all. I still find it pretty insane that we're able to find elevated welcome offers on their cards that aren't on the public website, but I definitely see a day where Amex just gets rid of those. There's one base offer you can get on their website, and we really have no choice in the matter. I definitely hope I'm wrong about this one, but I mean, now the only card family that we see out there that doesn't have the family restrictions on it are the Hilton Honors cards, and I wouldn't get your hopes up about this. I feel like if, you go for the Aspire card today, it's very likely that by the end of this year, you won't be able to get the welcome offer on the Surpass or the Hilton Honors card below that. It's really just a matter of time, in my opinion, where these rules we see kind of spread out across every single one of their cards. So all of that to say that as of right now, I just really don't care to give American Express any of my business. All of this started with the fact that I got stuck in pop-up jail with the Amex Business Platinum. But the more and more I thought about it, the more I felt like I just wanted to rant to y'all about why I don't like them in general. So instead of getting cards from them, I'm going to focus my attention on lenders who I actually feel like I have a better relationship with, like Chase. And it's so weird to say that I have a better relationship with other banks since Amex is known for being that, best friend for most people. Obviously, I think we've proven at this point that that's not the case anymore, because if you play this game anything like I do, and you're taking money out of their pockets, they're going to show you a much nastier side of their business. And while this video kind of covered the general grievances I have with them, if you want a more specific and objective view of one of their cards in particular that I ended up canceling last year, the Amex Gold card, you can see all of the reasons why I didn't think it was for me, even though I did technically get positive value in this video here. Well, as always, Odin and I both really appreciate y'all watching. Hope you like the new little setup I have in here. And if you enjoyed this one, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel, and we'll catch you guys next time.